akwaba and ne 7 December. Hey, okay. 7 December last year, Samray, na Ghana hanyina ye butu because na year to aba. Okay, exactly 1 year today, and ye to aba. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Abibio, esa wini aba be President of the Republic. Na exactly a year ago, na ye NPP NDC. Samray na pose ashase na yaswa ye shipa. Inum ye nsenchirofo na yaswa ye shi papa. Across the country, so I mean, your memory of the election last year, no, leave it in the comment section. Na ene global info analytics. Edi yushemia tuja. Almost say, and these supporters will be now say Dr. Bawumia and the lady NPP. Na me sadi we me mention antia say. See a election, opponent and a preferred candidate edimon. Edientia. And penyifo do manu atum say NDC for who say Dr. Bawumia be NPP flag bearer. Ebe boa omo. Anase edi ankasa na besi omuso Dr. Bawumia eno to na debi omubo ne dina na ene ho nsem ana na pay ye de ebremo na NDC na akra ankasa no according to global info analytics who leads the NDC ye bedwudwam e de am right here on Nana Jantua team pacho oba click subscribe button ama me we are bell notification icon no and then the screen so no attaching it on so that I am drop a video and I'll be the first person to get it the video no share nyina no I'm sure you're going to like it. You enjoy it in this episode. And you over like all of you comment in the comment section. I feel we are share now for France and ya be. Ashe, media Stephen Zando. Yamo akwaba na emu asebinimu. Di omni say Enra ana Global Info Analytics. Musah Dankwa. On the team no, edi nhwemu ebe tudwa. Unse Musah Dankwa there about polls in this country. Charlie, we're one of the credible guys because so far the election prediction away ndodo nyina abam including the 2024 general election gap or the man nyina abam sa enso and a by elections be akoso Ghana hanim say or the whole prediction ba na abam na enra no the team liba to just say majority of the NDC supporters don't want MPP to elect Bawumia as flag bearer or say majority NDC supporters don't want MPP to elect Dr. Bawumia as flag bearer. Na unim say sa nhwemu yi e kire se NDC for no muso Dr. Bawumia ntia na because enche bia ana nhwemu be to dwan say asa NDC for no bebre na epe Dr. Bawumia ese obelidi enti unam social media nkofo ka enti ema NDC for ni be ka say na mo Dr. Bawumia ni nsuro no emu ni say Bawumia eye nipa o MPP mu a NDC for ni suro no the way a fresh election polls about research from Global Info Analytics or say majority NDC supporters don't want MPP to elect Bawumia as flag bearer. Enti amanfo hu ni say NDC for esro Dr. Bawumia ntia. Na say an election outcome no ATM or say MPP and floating voters preference for NDC leadership on social media. No, way different. Ntia the way never bro. Yeah, the way different way NDC for nipa ya preference obelidi party which is the NDC party why and ability how na do so Dr. Kesela to forcing Johnson asering ketia Julius Debra anase why ya the honsem ebebrel na sanse beto je me fan ko back 21st November and I said before 21st November the enekran bebrel no yenko tie Musah Dankwa na executive director of Global Info Analytics ono so kwa fa so ye nhwemu no social media how he did this research the entire okase majority NDC supporters MPP be elected Dr. Bawumia as flag bearer yenko tie ba na fe me the Felix Kwakye Ofosu nsem bi waka afa Dr. Bawumia ho e de abrel
runoff scenario. Runoff, who would you vote for? Bawumia 45, not just 2 points ahead of from the previous number. 10 now 19 from 18. Undisclosed 15 has not changed. 21% for undecided. So it's gone up in terms of the runoff. Now, if you do looking analysis,
it's almost similar.
The same, yeah. Almost the same. And then if you do on the basis of committed, 68-32. We're not saying this will be the outcome of the election. It's pure mathematics that we are showing a number in a different way. Now, if you look at it, this is where you see the difference, the impact of Kennedy declining in the approval rating. Bawumia was 46%. It goes to 45, down 1% in the runoff. Kennedy was 23%. He goes to 19%, down 4%. The effect, you see, in the runoff, you have Brian people behaving differently, Edichum people behaving differently, and Japan people behaving differently. So if you're not seen favorably among them, the decline will begin to show in the runoff. They will break off or break away, not in your direction, but in someone else's direction. That's what we've seen here. Here you can see that those who are undecided gone up by 5%. So they have moved from Bawumia 1%, Ken 4%, and they've gone to undecided. Now, let's look at this. For those who are voting for Brian in the runoff, where will they go? The poll shows that almost half of them will go to, not half, about 26% will go to Kennedy. 27% will go to Bawumia. 35% undisclosed. 12% undecided. For those who are voting for Kennedy, in the runoff, he loses 3% of his own people to Bawumia. In the runoff. 2 go to undisclosed. And in the case of Educhum, 22% of his people will go to Kennedy, but 28% will go to Bawumia. 44% not disclosing. 6% undecided. When it comes to DMB, look, only 1% of his people switch runoff to Ken. But Ken lost what? 3. So Bawumia has +2 advantage for cross. And then he gets 98%. Ken gets 95%. So Bawumia has a loyal base. They are more loyal than what we see in the case of Kennedy Japan. Something he needs to work on seriously. And those who are voting for Kennedy Japan, look, 22 go to Kennedy, but 33 go to Bawumia. So Bawumia is getting more. And for Ken to do well, he must be getting more of the other candidates' vote when it comes to Kenya. We're not seeing that, and that's a problem that he has to address. Now, when you look at this race in the context of the last election, this speaks volume. In the case of DMB, he has lost 4% of his original base to Brian Achampong. He has lost 6% to Kennedy, 1% to Dr. Educhum, but he retains 71% of his core support last time. 15% are undecided, 4% are not disclosing. When you come to Kennedy Japan, he has lost 5% of his base last year or last election to Brian Achampong. He has lost 1% to Educhum and lost 11% to Bawumia. So altogether, about 17% of his base has gone to his opponents. Whereas for Bawumia, he has only lost 11% to his opponents. So Bawumia has plus advantage of about 5 or 6% cross-carpeting. That's why he's still leading. Now, if you look at those who did not vote in the last election, they didn't vote. 5% of them said they vote for Brian Achampong. 20% Ken. 1% Educhum. But 34% going for Bawumia. So he still dominates that. So overall, the numbers are down for everybody. But it seems to be a lot more down for Kennedy than it is for Bawumia. These are the changes between the defection rate. Now, regional blocks. We look at the Akan regions. In the Akan regions, currently, Bawumia 43, Ken 22, 6 Brian, 2 Educhum, 2% Kobnaji Japan, and 12% not disclosing, and 13% undecided. I'm going to just focus on this. In the swing regions, very close, somehow, 39% for Bawumia, 15% for Ken, 4% for Brian, 1% Educhum, and 1% for Japan, and 21% not disclosing, 20% undecided. When we come to the northern region, Bawumia 56. Now he goes what? 62.
A jump.
Up 6%. And Kennedy 15, now 13, 2 down. Achampong 2%. So Bawumia has gained in the November round of polls. When it comes to OT, Bawumia goes up 2%. but Kennedy goes up 20%.
Okay.
That's why he was winning in voter register.
Musah, we need to go.
Abusia for Musah Dankwa anusi no. Me de ko kopiem 21st November. Felix Kwakye Ofosu ekopiem wo Metro TV. Good Morning Ghana program so. Ana all church na adwen afa NPP primary see about primary na ba so 31st January 2026. Now it is clear that the battle is between Kennedy Kwakye Japan and Dr. Bawumia. When the two Franka NPP in the 2024 general election, or person sa two Franka bim, name as at this time around when you competition, tough competition, and the power do and 9 and then compete. Dr. Brian Champon, Dr. Oseduchum, Kennedy Japan, Ejida Kwabena Japan, and of course, I know Dr. Bawumia, any ponum, and the person who took Franka Edema MPP. Now, global info analytics research in the bio, and a car kaime. What's an agent to TV? Me the content name, I'm a person who sees a car came 21st November and check. I think last month we be and a Felix Kwakye Ofosu or a minister in charge of government communication. Okopium Good Morning Ghana or Metro Television. So Anna or didn't 72 just say share. No. Bawumia kwampo a candidate a bear for NDC in 2028 general election. Na candidate will lose by 1.7 million vote difference to the NDC there. It did now say NDC for Suruno. It already Bawumia kwa anya candidate NDC Suruno dabi. The economy record when it comes to the economy abysmal. It is almost at never be more. A best abwa. I mean NDC krana say MP for combat strategica. Combat to Kennedy Japan over Dr. Bawumia. Sa video no minimum so na bi hwe me say mo kwa kutie Felix Kwakye Ofosu back in November 21st November. Okopiem Good Morning Ghana Metro Television so the entire or say NDC for omunso Dr. Bawumia baako see.
So whereas Kennedy Japan can distance himself from the poor MP performance, Dr. Bawumia cannot.
But what would he campaign on?
No. It doesn't matter. You see, he can campaign on his own steam. And I'm talking political strategy. He can campaign on his own steam. He can say. No. Yes.
Strategize for us.
No, I'm not strategizing for you. You see. Oh, my brother, let me finish.
There are some of them.
Let me finish.
If Kennedy Japan wins the 2028 elections, will be a foregone conclusion for you.
Oh, I'm saying that. Let me finish. No.
But you have.
But if you see, my brother, no. My brother, if you let me land, because of the time, let me land, please. You had your say while I was here. You see, I'm not campaigning for anybody. I'm telling you what the objective reality is. I'm not the one who will choose an NPP candidate, but I'm telling you that if anybody was doing serious strategizing in the NPP, they will factor these in. Who best represents our interests at the ballot, not the brouhaha and the excitement that surrounds internal primaries. Dr. Bawumia's record is abysmal. He cannot take it to the market. That is the honest truth. The average Ghanaian who today has seen a reduction in the cost of living, and there's an empirical basis for it. At the very least, when he goes to the pump, he buys fuel much cheaper than he did under the NPP. The businessman who gets dollars at a cheaper rate now than the NPP, what business would he have voting for somebody who took the dollar to 17 cedis on the forex market? Why would they vote for somebody like that? Who would want to choose a worse situation over a better situation when the evidence is glaring? But if you bring others, they may be able to say that we disagreed with this. I wasn't part of this. My record shows that I even, at the time we were in power, told my people that they were on the wrong path. They didn't listen to me. Not that in itself will carry you. Because ultimately, the decision to vote for a party or one party or the other is premised, and Ghanaians have shown it, on what they believe to be the state of their welfare. It is economic reasons that have informed every change in government, even including military coup d'etats. Why? When Achampo overthrew Buzia, what was the reason? Achampo himself, when he was overthrown, what was the reason? Akwesi, was it not about economic hardships? So even military regimes have trumpeted economic hardships as reasons why they've gotten rid of democratically elected governments. Since 1992, every single time a party has lost elections, it has been based on economic performance or the lack of it. President Kufuor, what was his mantra? Shewa sitinem natwa bapa. In 2008, we said better Ghana. We highlighted, and I was neck deep in that campaign, we highlighted economic hardships. I recall that there was some spiraling cost of living crisis around 2007 or thereabouts. In 2016, they also cited economic reasons. 2024 economic reasons was at the top because that was the worst economic period Ghanaians had experienced in a whole generation. So they may not like what I'm saying or what people like myself will say, but it is the honest truth. It is the honest truth, and in these things, I know that there are people who want the status quo to remain because perhaps there are some benefits. That is also understandable. They are considering their own personal welfare in that regard. But for the party, the biggest consideration is whether or not the person you are selling to Ghanaians will be bought and that they will find him acceptable given his track record. Because he has been there before. He made all the noise. Look, he used to deliver lectures on our public debts. When he became the head of the economic management team, what did we see? We defaulted on our debts. So what is he going to say again to convince anybody to trust him with political power? That is a consideration that they must look at.
Listen to Echo Vincent Asafwa, and I'm going to the budget after this.
No problem.
Please, I need to,
but you've had your take. No. Let me listen to Asafwa and respond to him.
He says, please tell my brother, Felix.
I have to respond to the
AKA the spin master. That he cannot choose our presidential candidate for us.
But have I said so?
They are simply afraid of Bawumia.
Oh, you see, again, rational analysis. How can we be afraid of a man who we beat by 1.7 million votes? What is there to be afraid of? You see, if he had lost by, say, 40,000 votes, like President Akufo-Addo lost in 2008, then you said that he came very close. Look, I contested elections in AK. I lost by 176 votes. So it was very clear that if some factors were adjusted and things were done properly, I could overcome it. Indeed, I won in 2024 by 11,300 votes. That's the margin of victory. But people had confidence in me because of the margin I lost in 2020, 176 votes, which is less than the votes in one polling station. But we are talking about a candidate who has lost by 1.7 million votes, who you yourselves are telling us did not find favor with 2 million NPP supporters. 2 million NPP supporters were not motivated to go and vote for him. And you are saying that anybody is afraid of him. How can anybody be afraid of somebody we've beaten? And you see, he has this in absolute terms. In percentage terms, it is Mr. Rawlings who got the biggest electoral victory of around 58%, if I'm not mistaken, around 96. But in absolute terms, Bawumia has suffered the worst, most humiliating defeat in Ghana's political history, or at least since the Fourth Republic began.
Before then, who was?
It doesn't matter.
No, before.
No. Listen, it doesn't matter.
That means
listen. No.
Somebody,
of course, he won't be.
A sitting president.
No problem. No. Yes.
A sitting
but
president.
Dr. Bawumia, a sitting vice president, has not. Oh,
you're not the same.
But you're interrupting me. You're interrupting me.
They're not the same.
You're interrupting me. You see, when they go to the polls, as Bawumia himself used to say, manu a manu. It was Dr. Bawumia against President Mahama. They contested that election. What they were or were not was immaterial. The people of Ghana had a choice between President Mahama and Dr. Bawumia, who actually was in power, was managing the economy. And they said that they did not want Bawumia. 1.7 million people.
Who manages your economy?
Oh, we do not have an economic management team. We have not counted.
If you let me land.
If you let me land. Alaji, these interruptions. No.
I'll give you the time.
I want to know.
Alaji, so you see, when is your turn? You can make any alliance. You see, Akwesi.
Who is your arrowhead?
Akwesi, I beg you. You see, nobody put a gun to President Akufo-Addo's head.
Not.
Alaji, are you going to interrupt every word I say? I will come to that.
Alaji, please.
Just let me land.
Please allow me.
Please.
I'll give you the time.
I beg you.
No, I'll give you.
It's also unfortunate that you are doing this to me.
I'll give you the time.
It is short. Please let me flow. When is your time? You can make your point. I've noticed that you've written a tall list of items. You see, nobody put a gun to President Akufo-Addo's head to tell us that he had gone for Dr. Bawumia specifically. Indeed, as far back as 2008, when Dr. Bawumia did not even have an NPP party card, and this is documented. President Akufo-Addo told us that it was because of his background as an economist that he had gone for him. In 2012, the same argument was repeated. 2016, even before then, in fact, since 2012, Dr. Bawumia has been mounting political platforms to deliver economic lectures. He didn't give lectures on security. He didn't give lectures on gender and women and children. He didn't give lectures on housing. He gave lectures on the economy, economic management. Indeed, they got the Central University to give him a so-called seat. They call it the chair of economic governance. Nobody also put a gun to Dr. Bawumia's head to come and tell us that they had a stellar economic management team headed by him. A few, 100 days after they took over power in 2017, did he not mount the platform to announce the economic management team with he himself as the head and touted their credentials? In fact, he actually went abroad in the same year and said that they had such a stellar economic management team that every week they met to take critical decisions on the economy. They told us this. I didn't say it. We have not come to announce an economic management team, have we? So if you come and, in fact, Westill, he used to go around to lead the economic management team to hold town hall meetings. They held one at the College of Physicians here. In fact, to do that, they actually mounted a giant billboard at the venue and around the city to announce the economic management team. And his poster or his picture was the biggest. And it was clearly indicated that he was the chairman of the economic management team. So how can you come and tell me today that he was not in charge of that?
Well,
what was he in charge of?
Let me.
You see, even that, and again, they are making the same mistake. You know what hurts Ghanaians the most? You see, it was bad enough that the economy had been mismanaged and Ghanaians were going through hardships. But the attempt to distance him from the economic failures cast him as somebody who could not take responsibility. And that is what worsened the economic plan. You see, if you go with the same strategy, you will suffer even worse defeats.
Let me come to you, Alaji, Honorable.
Abusafo Felix Kwakye Ofosu and wote ne nka no. The same research no. Musah Dankwa so your research for NDC candidate no who leads the NDC was a social media post o TV nkrofo adwenkyere o social media. Na we any there or they buy was MPP ni floating voters or preferred candidates MPP ni ya or prefer candidate to NDC. Fa say bia we MPP ni a why na ka be pese obe lead NDC or say na nsuaso ekoye wo hwa MPP for pe Haruna Idrisu pa wo hwa graphic according to Musah Dankwa or say MPP ni bia be pese nka Haruna Idrisu and a belly NDC meaning say sa de we ni ya na e mind games dia because we MPP ni awunya NDC ni today na nka be pese we na belly di e bia hu ni say we na leader o party betimi awini enti de bia obe professor na be win no sa so na floating voters e prefer say Dr. Kasela to force the finance minister and a belly NDC. Then so show screen so and a rolling no. How na Idrisu MPP for prefer say on the belly NDC. Floating voters so prefer say Dr. Kasela to force finance minister ono and a belly NDC in the 2028 general election. Musah Dankwa enso komu ebonchiremu adekrontia or the research ba bonti e come so here and how he was able to mobilize opinions on the street of social media. Yen kodesa nkotie Musah Dankwa bi me ba na ya ba be wi adwuma die no.
Eye data ye dey sending ma amanfo omo kire omadwen. Too early, not too early. Amanfo kire omadwen. Ye kore nyina na omo kire omadwen. Yen hwe the race no in September the same pool across the country on social media no. Yen hwe when na o lead e wo NDC die no. Na Haruna Idrisu e wo 28%. Sorry, 27%. September, Haruna Idrisu 27%. Na General Asedun Kitia, it was 23%. Na Julius Debra, it was 14%. And Atufosin, it was 13%. Na Gina na Nidinka home, and a man for Kuka, Edidiaba, just to see where she is. And Erikupuku, now 11%. A black one, now 7%. And Omama Kano, around 5%. And then saying it here, and then Haruna Idrisu, it was 28%, were free 27, about 28%. General Mosquito, I said in now 23, sorry, I feel 24%, were cost by 1%. Haruna so cost by 1%. Julius Zebra, not over 14%. I feel Swati, about 4%. And Atufosin, now over 13%. I feel cost 28%, up 15% point. Now, Professor Jen Ajima now was 0, I feel of course 7%. Erikopoku now over 11%, I feel other 2%. A black one now was 7%, I feel other 4%. And Joshua Alabi and they over 3%. Okay, ye titi ye titi kind of rumors no say na raise no 18. But Ibisa mo say in case say be a Haruna Drisu say on Kobium because man for casting north the bedding. And Professor Ginana so by 2028 na we fit put any money pa, and I think age may not be on the side. Nti say okase be a Haruna Drisu onko and a Ginana onko say na NDC for race no. We ne sa no a na atoforce akọ 40%. Na saving Ketia about 32%. Plus Debra no 9%. Ablakwa no 10%. Joshua Alabi 6%. Erukupugu 3%. Nti se jina na enim na aruna so nima say na NDC for no chere omagi. Now interesting thing is say o hwe data no a se we aruna reduce free na jina so we free mu a omo combined vote no about 35%. Now, when in a share of this vote, no, when vote, when a benya having a reduced vote, when the benya other people vote, but starting from vote, no, total of 35, no, when in a degree, we hear big data no, I said in Kitania 24% of the 35%, no, Debra in 13%, at two in 34%, Erugopoku in 4%, a Blackwa in 16%. And Joshua Alabi in 9% of total vote now. Jenana and Haruna Jagu from no competition say broadly at 34% and General Mosquito 24%, a Blackwa in 16%, Debra in 13%, Alabi in 9%, and Orikopoku in 4%. Now, interesting thing is a scenario be in the question. No, you can say okay. Say assuming say Jenana wanko, Haruna so anko, and you can say Debra so anko. Mobile ni say interestingly, ohwe omwa omotuma Haruna no omo vote beko ni say omwa omotuma Jenana se onimu a hwan ene bet se sa ne vote no ena se Debra so enka ho a hwan na bet sa Debra vote ena se ato se ato Ablakwa so ankontesi a hwan de benya Ablakwa vote no inti we so ye analysis a ho hia yaye ohwe data no very interesting for Haruna Drisu no 28% of omotuma no se onimu a omotuma asedin ketia now so 51% a omotuma Haruna se onimu a omotuma atoforce 6% etuma Erikupoku 12% etuma Joshua Alabi and 3% say omo undecided so oba Professor Jenana Opoku ni vote no a 28 echo Mosquito chain but 53 echo atoforce chain 6% echo Erikupoku 13% echo Joshua Alabi and 3% 0% say omo undecided oba omotuma a black one a Blackwa 25% etuma asedin ketia 56% etuma atoforce 9% etuma Erikupoku and 6% etuma Joshua Alabi 4% say omo undecided now so omotuma Julius no 18% etuma asedin ketia 62% etuma atoforce 12% etuma Erikupoku 6% etuma Joshua Alabi and 2% undecided into technically so we these people free more I said do more than half of omotuma no sa omotuma sancrophone no omokotuma atoforce. What does it mean? Does it mean say atoforce will be a force to be reckoned? Will it be a fierce fight between Mosquito and atoforce and I say race no besisa say I don't know castle obeko na Jane so obeko Ablakwa so kwa bien enebesi
Musah Dankwa ana moten kan efa dwuma de ni nsia MPP for say according to Musah Dankwa omo mpese Dr. Bawumia ene be wini MPP flag bearer no sa so ana aba MPP mu a obo pese Haruna Drisu ene lead NDC election no yɛda mu nyinaa asese mu ne di dwuma right here on Anajanto TV. Me di Stephen Zando okokra no mpacho like it na comment in the comment section we afio be like no wa share foforo so anya bi ahwe de omni se subscribe channel na sana wako enche bia Dr. Samuel Kwadwo Janto de so kato man obeten nka right here on Anajanto TV makramo